We're talking to Reverend RDockery3, the pastor of Mount Sinai, Cumberland Presbyterian Church, and also a person who has developed a program, a mentoring program dealing with issues dealing with fatherhood. And of course, Reverend RDockery3, let's give you an opportunity over this last segment that we have here to talk about your program in a way that the individuals that you would like to reach can be attracted to that program, as well as the individuals you would like to help you reach those individuals. As we've said, you know, you're dealing with the criminal justice system and with the social system and et cetera, and there ought to be a large number of individuals who can identify with what you're saying and ought to be willing to cooperate with you, because there's a tremendous need for us to do what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, thank you. 3 groups that I'd like to reach, if no other groups. One, the individual male who are interested in dealing with their issues of not knowing how to be responsible. And that's not to say that what you do for your children is not worth anything, but it's to say that if there is a way by which you can improve on that and you can make that better, then let's do that. Number 2, we're looking for individuals who would serve as corporate sponsors or individual sponsors, those who will enable us to make this message broader and take it to a larger audience. And lastly, we're looking for a collaboration with institutions such as the penal institution, the educational institutions, and other social service agencies that are concerned with it. Last, we did a research on the Nashville community, trying to find out what service organizations existed. We found that there were 21 such organizations that existed for women and children, but there were very few that existed for men who were displaced. So one of the things we want to do is, again, not to get in a battle between genders, but focus on a well-developed and a problem that certainly has credence. And there's a tremendous need to address that issue, because what we find is that what's going on here has a lot to do with some of the other things that are going on, and often they precipitate those things. So focus of this program, under the guise of building families and communities with our nonprofit organization, is to focus on this as an area of concern. And so we, you know, as I mentioned, those 3 groups, the individual sponsors, as well as government agencies and things of that nature. But we want to be able to make sure we sustain the process. It's interesting, as we look at what happened down in off the Gulf Coast.
Thank you.
It's unfortunate, you know, but it's not just a black issue, but certainly we saw the subgroup that was affected the most. And it was sad to see how many men who did not have a clue. They were waiting on the government to do things that they could have done, or perhaps if they had been prepared would have done for themselves. And that's not to say that we don't work with the government. But in the United States, there are 50 states, some 3,000 county governments, and a number of precinct governments within those counties. And each man in their precinct has a right to ensure that tax dollars that are spent are going in a way that they know that at the moment of any type of catastrophe, they know where things are going to come from and how they can use it to take care of themselves. You know, I ask myself as a man, I have a mother here and sisters and nieces and nephews. What would I do in emergency response to look out for all of those interests of mine? And how would I have developed such a process? So those are one of the things, some of the things that we're looking at in the workshops, is talking about what can reasonably be done within the confines of the law and the services that are already in existence.
You know, Reverend RDockery, since